think we've got everything. Oh, we know. Hold on. 1 second. I knew I was going to forget still. Because it's me. Okay. Alrighty. So we move that over there. Pull this guy on for just a little. Okay. I think we have our acts together now. Alright, we got Marvin over there in the corner. Alright, you guys, so we're going to be drifting back into normal schedule this week now. We might still squeeze in some Diablo after dinner this week, but we're going to try to transition back to normal times, and we might do an extra stream on Tuesday or Wednesday that's not planned, where we're just doing Diablo. But we're going to try to get back to our normal scheduled stuff. Excuse the band-aid, I got a blister from painting the wall yesterday. Or the cuticle on my finger is all fucked up. Something's not happening. So, we are starting a new one today. Because we finished episode 6. So we are, excuse me, moving on to following along with episode 7. So we got that going on. Stream Elements still has not caught up. There it goes. I'm like, why is stuff changing on the screen? I'm like, oh, right. Because even though I tell it to only show that window, it decides to show all the things. That's okay. There wasn't anything important to see on there for you guys. Anyhow. Alrighty, so we've got the new one. We're going to need to sketch it out a bit, so we're going to jump to kind of, well, we don't want to, jump to that. Okay, so I want to kind of go to the end of it here. Did we get a head-on shot? They weren't real big on head-on shots on this thing, on this season, shall we say. Okay, so there we kind of get a head-on shot at the very end. So he's got his in landscape. So we'll do that for ours. Sorry, I was having a hell of a time getting the camera to cooperate here. Alright, pen's working. Okay, so this one's called Quiet Inlet. So he's got some sky and some, you're okay, little, and some mountainy things and stuff. So I guess base, like the base horizon between the, let me see if I can get, nope, it's gonna block my hand. So between the, say, like the beach and that second low mountain is, I guess it's about halfway. So let's see. I mean, we can really put it wherever on ours. It's not that huge of a thing. So how about, it's probably a little more than, well, we've got that big mountain there. Let's go with here. This is just a regular old ballpoint pen. Or whatever this cheap ass pen is from Dollar Tree. I guess ballpoint would be accurate. Okay, so And that's actually not quite as far down as I was thinking it was. So I'm gonna give that just a little bit more room because I'm not quite happy with that. And even with a T-square, I can't draw a straight line. Are we surprised? Not really. Not really. Okay, so that, if we ignore that line, okay, so that's a little better. Let me put my measuring stick away. Okay, so basically there's gonna be some mountainy thingies, so you don't have to pre-sketch it. I like to, just to make sure I'm giving myself enough room, because sometimes I'll like go big on the top and it'll be big and roomy, and then I get to the bottom and I'm like running out of space. So this is just Nisey things. Alright, so the top we've got, he kind of like fades it off to here, and I don't know why. So I'm thinking this guy. Let's see, there's about a good amount of sky between those two. And then this one's not quite as... Oh shit, hold on. I knew I was forgetting something. And I said to myself, I was like, hey, don't forget to do the thing. And I was like, yeah, I'll grab it. Template. Like, I don't remember us being this close to the edge before. That's partially what looks wrong. Like, I seem to have an awful lot of room here. Alright, so this is just the backing from an 8x10 photo frame. That I use to kind of give myself a little bit of a border, and in the hopes of trying to stay a specific size. Doesn't always work out that way, because when you're doing the needle felting, the fibers, your base, the fibers tend to pull in and get tighter. So you're gonna have a little bit of a different size if you're really aiming for 8x10 to fit like an 8x10 frame. Maybe go a little bit smaller and then use a matte border. But we've figured out, or I figured out, that I really like the dowel rod scroll hanging for these. Kind of makes them pop a little bit. Alright, we can still work with that. That's fine. Shove that back in my drawer over here. Okay. So these sides are going to get cut off, so it's not a huge deal. So we've kind of got a little bit of a ridge here, and this is just going to be however you want that to be. Basically, I'm pretty sure I've got the dip in my ridge not in quite the same spot as Bob. Fairly certain, and I've got mine much deeper. Poor little Mingo on the spring back there on the top of the the pen. It's gonna have whiplash by the time we're done. Okay, so there's that, and then all this pen's gonna it's gonna disappear. It's not a disappearing ink pen, but hey honey, how are you? Hope you're doing well today. Now this guy. We're gonna kind of put in our second ridge here. I can't tell what's behind the tree. So this is how ours is gonna go. Right, we're just kind of using Bob for the idea of how to do the thing. Although he's doing painting and we're doing needle felting, so he can't really help us all that much, but you know, it's the idea. It's the idea. And then this guy's gonna kind of come down to about here. So, I mean, you know, we've got sky. This guy's got a bit more real estate than we do, but that's okay. Sky, mountain, mountain. So this mountain I think we're gonna make him a little bit, well, I mean, he could come down to there. Sorry, my chair is squeaking. And then this guy, so if we bring that mountain to there, I think I want this guy to have just a little bit more room here. It doesn't have to be much. Just a little bit. Okay, so mountain-esque, beach-esque. Okay, so then down in here, actually I don't think we need this. Excuse me for this part. So kind of got some something going like that. It's gonna be like a darker shade, so that's why I kind of cut the two off. And then this guy kind of over in here. He's gonna kind of come around, maybe into there. It's not too harsh of an angle, but it is a little bit of one. Okay. All right. So I think we kind of have our basic shapes blocked in for the most part. And if we want to adjust as we go, that's great. We can do that. This pen is just a guideline. It's not like, oh, we can't deviate from the pen. Oh, no. It's fine. All right, so let me grab my poor beat up mat here. Get some life bumped back into him. Soon, Mr. Matt. Soon we will be replacing you, because you've seen better days, that's for certain. Sometimes when I take a X-Acto knife and scrape the top layers of fuzz that are in here, it'll sit a little bit flatter, ironically, but I didn't have time to do that right now. So, okay. Now, I already kind of did our preliminary idea sketch, and that's this bad boy up in the corner. I can get it to click on him. So that was our, you know, our idea sketch for how things were gonna look. What is, hold on, something's not, got like a black line. Is it gone now? Okay, maybe I'm seeing things. I don't know. Okay, I can see my shirt. I didn't see that. Maybe that was an illusion. Alright, so let's get our finger covers ready. Disorganized mess today, I can tell you that much. Alright. Finger covers in place. And, oof, careful there. Get our needles set up here. Okay. I'm just using a small gauge needle. Alright, Bob, we're gonna go back to the beginning. I do have him muted. If you want to watch the tutorial in full, you can go to the link that I posted above, but I'll post it again. That will take you to Bob's YouTube channel. Alright, so he's putting in some sky, and we already picked out our sky color. I think I decided cornflower would be a decent enough sky color. Now he's gonna add his watercolor in now. We might hold off on that part until we get there. Although, I mean, I suppose we could add it in early. Guess it wouldn't hurt too much. Alright, and so he's gonna blend that out. I'm not sure if he actually adds any clouds extra or if he just leaves it as the impression that they're there by not fully blending. So that's kind of what I want to see here. Okay, so no, he didn't actually add in any clouds specifically. So we're gonna pull out our, this is not cotton candy, don't eat it. I know it looks yummy. So I'm using acrylic yarn at the moment, and this is Cornflower Blue. This is from Big Twist. And that Big Twist Value, they've got a couple different versions of Big Twist. And this is from Joanne Fabrics. That's going to be their house brand. Sometimes I like to work in smaller chunks here. Okay. One of these days we'll get some better headphones. I don't know. We might try the wireless ones for when I'm streaming, just so they're not in the bloody way, but we'll see. that requires funding that we don't have right now. Not a huge deal. The wired ones do the trick. They just get in the way sometimes. And technically I don't need to have them on. But then, if I'm looking down, I don't hear the alert sound cues, which we may have fixed. They were being wonky this week. I'm not entirely sure what happened. But we're taking a little break from Diablo to get some art in. We might Diablo with the husband later tonight, after we have dinner. We'll see. But we're going to start working in our sky here. We got my mom's room painted yesterday. We were done by like 6:30-ish. It was just, it wasn't that it was, like, the ceiling was pretty short in there, but it's just that we had to move furniture off of walls because she's in that room, and we kind of had to play, like, musical chairs with everything and be like, okay, let's put this here, let's do this wall, let that wall dry with some fans on it, and it's like, okay, this is fairly dry now. And we had to tape trim off and stuff because she didn't want us to do the trim yet, and I'm like, okay. I was like, I really don't want to move all this furniture again, but that saved us some time. If we had had to do the trim too, we probably would have still been doing it come like 9 o'clock. So I got started about 10. Now later tonight, I have to work on the flower arrangement for my dad's grave. I can't really stream that because of where my camera is. My camera's too close. And besides, you guys probably don't want to see me fighting with the glue gun anyway. Probably had enough of that from the last project that we were working on. Adding our dowel rods. I gotta start thinking what color I want to paint our dowel rods for this one. That is the mythical question. What do we want to paint them? So he worked his paintbrush magic to get the suggestion of his clouds in place. We're actually going to have to put our clouds in. So, and that's fine. But that will be where our piece is going to differ a bit from his. Alrighty. Wasn't really sure what color sky I wanted to go with here, but so I've got a few different shades of blue, but all of my other blues are kind of bold and in your face, so I was like, maybe not one of those. I mean, we've got a pale, barely there actual sky blue, and this felt a little bit brighter than that. Now, one of the reasons that I started doing the dowel rod scroll hangy thing, like we did with the last project, I don't have it within reach, so I can't show it at the moment. Because the cat has become obsessed with the twine that I've put on there, and he keeps trying to rip it off the wall. Is because my sides get kind of misshapen as we go. I'm sure that's just a me thing. But it was making it hard to fit into the frames because sometimes I would have to trim it up a little bit and we'd get a little too far in, and even though I'm trying to trim it straight, and it wasn't quite the shape that we needed it to be to fit in a frame, I didn't have the money to go and get mats to even do a demo framing for you, so. And, you know, if I put these up for sale in the Kofi shop when we're done, I also, you know, I was like, well, shit, I can't ship a frame. I mean, I could, but that's going to make shipping super expensive, and the stuff on the Kofi shop, I'm shipping in the States for free. Shipping internationally, I just don't want to get involved with at the moment. I'm sorry. But, you know, I can ship in the US for free right now. I don't have much up in the Kofi shop at the moment. I think I've got 3 pieces. I need to get some final photos done on the other 2 that we just wrapped up. And we'll get those posted on up in there soon, so probably about another month before I'm able to get around to doing it. Now I know some people are like, why are you working on such small bits? Well, it's actually easier on my hand. Got some past injuries and issues, so it's easier for me to work in small bits because then I can take a break. And my hand's flared up this week, so that's hence the thing on my hand. I think I flared it up when I accidentally kind of jammed my thumb a little bit when I hit the car door. My thumb joint felt a little funny right when I did it, but then it kind of dissipated a bit, and then the next few days, like, it was just pain city. It's not as bad as it was. But yesterday didn't do me too many favors with the paint roller and trying to hold it. That was a bit tough, so hand's a little tired, a little swollen today, so that's right. It's getting better. See, already it feels like our edge is off. We're off to a wonky start already. That's okay. We'll get it cleaned up. So one of the cool things about this color is that they've got some lighter strands of blue, maybe a little bit of white mixed into this shade. So when you're looking at it, it's kind of got a slate color variant to it already happening. Stay put there, needly tool. Like, I'm already seeing some spots in there that I'm like, oh, just kind of see some gray still poking through, so kind of want to get that sorted before I go too much further in that section. Now the top and the bottom are the ones that I really want to try to keep as straight as I can. It's not a huge deal if they get a little wonky, because we can use the dowel to kind of level off the top edge that's visible. But all the same, I do want to attempt to put forth an effort. Try to keep that straightened out if possible. So right, this is the boring part as we're starting to just block in the colors. Not a lot happening right now. So just trying to figure out stuff. Make sure that all this color is in fact attached. Okay, let's grab the next bit of fluffy stuff here. That's kind of a big chunk there. We can make that a little bit smaller for the time being. And I do try to overlap the colors a little bit when I lay them in. Just kind of makes it look a little less tab A into slot B kind of thing. Kind of melts the lines together a bit so it doesn't look quite so much like we used smaller pieces. Again, that's just a me thing. If you're okay working with larger sections, go for it. And if you guys are doing your own painting with wool, let me know. Tag me on either Insta or share to me on Insta or Twitter. Even the little critters. I don't really do little critters. I do them once in a while. But I like doing these more. Sorry, I just saw like that looked a little like it needed a little more attaching up there. I know we're down here. But by all means, yeah, share them. I'd love to see what you guys are working on, or even if you're painting or anything, whatever you're working on. I love to see what other people do. Especially with stuff that I'm not a shit ton familiar with. So when we get done this one in a few weeks, we'll have another planning session. This one's not quite as involved as, like, say, the last one, even though the last one was kind of straightforward, but like the only real super involved thing we had on that one was the bridge. But this one isn't too bad. Did you hear that?
Hear what?
Oh, I heard a weird noise. It stopped. It was like just for a split second. Maybe it was somebody's car horn. I don't know. That was weird. People have been horn happy around here the past few days. It's been mildly aggravating. It's like, why? What is your deal? Oh, husband. Is that other bag still out there in the kitchen?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, and as you stab in, you know, you'll have, well, with how I'm doing it, I get like little thin spots open up, and that's fine, because we can go back. Uh-oh. There we go. Sometimes we get too attached. Maybe I should scrape that down a little bit, because that was super attached there. Alright, let's do that real quick. Where's my, is it in here, or did I put it? Yeah, it is in here. Okay. It's in my brush container. Alright. I'm just scraping the surface. That's all I'm doing. This X-Acto blade's kind of old too, so I'm not cutting into the mat. I'm just kind of trying to get the excess fluff pulled up. Since it was trying to attach itself. To our current project. So this mat really wasn't made for what I'm doing doing with it, so it's more for like the crittery stuff, I think. And you know, this mat's over a year old now. And we've put it through quite a lot. We've done critters with it. We've done all kinds of painting with wool projects on it. Alright, just want to do... It's so strange that one section popped up like that. Mr. Matt, I need you to hold out a little bit longer. Does look a little bit flatter now, though. Just a little bit longer, my friend. Like another month and a half before I can replace you. That's all I'm asking for. Alright. Now, I'm not putting a ton of pressure on this with that finger sitting on the tail of the fluff. I'm just kind of, it's just gentle, normal gravity hand weight pressure. With my finger resting on it, because if I don't do that, it's going to grab all of the fluff in one go. for how I'm doing this, and I don't want it to do that just yet. I'm not quite ready for it to do that yet. I don't leave it there the whole time, just until I feel like I'm anchored down enough where we're gonna be okay with that. There is a thing called an aqua groomer. It's for horses and dogs, but it's great for cleaning your felting pads. Really? Huh. Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. I think I've seen them. Hang on, I want to look this up real quick. So, hang on, let me. So, I don't know what's going to show up on Amazon when I go to search it. So, EQIG. No, that's not how we spell that. EQI. G. There we go. De-shedding tool. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay, that's like little micro. Or this particular one. I would probably get that one. Oh, that's okay. Hey, you know what? We could fucking use that on the dogs too. You snark. It's for dogs and cats and horsey thingies and. But it's like microfine. Removes only dead, dry, scaly hairs. I bet the cats would love that. That poor old pug in that picture. Okay. Ships from Amazon. Okay. All right. Thank you. I will keep that in mind. I will add that to my list. I still want to replace this mat though, but that will definitely help.
Yeah, the mat's already kind of messed.
But maybe that'll help keep the newer mat in better order. Because this one's kind of misshapen and stuff. I think it's from all of the fluff that's in there. And from the couple of times I didn't pull up. So when I first started, I just kind of went to town, not thinking about, you know, pulling up off the mat. And I kind of, sort of, needle felted one or two projects to the mat directly. And it kind of got a little extra misshapen as I tried to release them, shall we say. So So I have a little extra about pulling these guys up off the mats. But today, it really wants to grab the mat pretty good here. I'm kind of surprised. At how much it's holding on for dear life, shall we say. I feel kind of bad because I kind of want to take my mom to the zoo again, but it's way too hot to go right now. Way too hot. And it's summer, so all of the summer school, vacation, here, watch my kid, places are gonna be there. So we might shoot for maybe September. Maybe we can take her for her birthday.
When's her birthday?
September 29th.
Okay.
I think oh my god, I'm dying from the heat might have calmed down.
Probably by then.
What day is that actually? Hold on. We'd have to go a couple days ahead of time. That's a Friday, so maybe on the Thursday before? I have a feeling Friday might be a busy day there. Or we can go the Tuesday or Wednesday that week. A day that might be less busy. Maybe. We might try to take her to one of the quote-unquote malls. It's about a half hour from here, maybe 45 minutes. Maybe we'll try to do that next month. Just to kind of get her out of the house for a while. I would say we would go this month, but we've already spent she's already spent so much money on us getting the paint for her room, and then she insisted on buying us dinner last night, and I'm like, really? I can cook, it's not a big deal. I'm gonna have to take a break anyway to eat, so I might as well cook something. So I was planning on making pizza. We made pizza today. Well, I made the dough before we got started. That's one of the reasons why I was a little slow to get started, although we did start a few minutes early. Because I managed to get up early enough. We were beat from yesterday. At least the paint we got was low odor. So we really only had to have the windows open while we were directly painting. And then when we wrapped up, like about maybe an hour after we wrapped up, we're like, okay, it doesn't really smell that bad in here, and she couldn't really smell it, so I'm like, alright, fine, we're gonna put the air conditioner back on then. And I'm glad we did, because it is toasty. Like yesterday it was overcast and rainy in the morning, and they were saying we were gonna have thunderstorms, but we got our thunderstorms Friday night. We were under a severe thunderstorm for a little bit, but it was just for some wind and hail. It wasn't anything too bad. The hail size wasn't that big. And we were just kind of sitting on the edge of it, so it was just there enough to be annoying where lightning was too close, where we couldn't get anything else done house chore wise, like dishes or any of that, so we couldn't really mess with the water. But we needed that rain badly, and boy did it rain. So I'm happy for that. We didn't have to water the plants outside. I'm curious to see if my one flower actually flowers.
I know.
It's got all these tight little buds on it, and it still hasn't opened, and I'm like, are you gonna do anything or what? Because you barely grew last year when we planted you. And this year you've actually got your stalks and your little tight flower buds on you, and you're not doing anything. So are you just not getting enough sun? Are you not getting enough water? Like, what's your deal? I'm so confused. It's had these tight little flower buddies on it for like the past 2 weeks, and they still haven't opened, and I'm like, hello? Is anyone home? Like, what's going on here? Alright, we need to get quite a bit more fluff in there. So I didn't actually fluff any extra fluff this week because I was so busy with other things. We were playing Diablo and then, you know, life and all that, and I was just like, fuck it, I'll fluff it when we need it. So when we get to the green, I might have to fluff some extra green in there. We'll see. If I actually have to, but I'm sure I'm gonna have to fluff at some point. It's just I've got 3 containers of yarn. I really probably, like, I kind of want to just fluff the whole ball at once. The only problem is that's gonna require larger storage bags than I have, or that I'm using. Might require the gallon size ones instead of the sandwich size ones. And then that's gonna get a little extra difficult for storing. I'd love to just get a whole bunch of like plastic containers, like the Ziploc containers, and just fluff and shove it in those and stack them, but I don't have shelving to stack them on. There goes that car with that dog again. And that was not our dogs. It was somebody that drives by with their dog's head hanging out the window and barking at everybody, or just barking because they're excited. But I've seen those, oh, what are they? Those, I'm sure people have seen the ads for them. Those dream closet things, those dream storage armoire things. That, you know, you open the doors and it's like a craft room in an armoire. Oh my god, I love them. Workspace, everything. The ones that have the little table-y guys, all of it. I love it. And I'm like, it's got the lighting, all of the storage I could ever fucking want in one spot. They're expensive. Holy shit. At first I thought it was just, you know, a bullshit a bullshit Facebook ad. You know how the Facebook ads are. Half the time it's not real merchandise. It doesn't actually exist. It's just, like 5 samples somebody made, and then they're like, yeah, if you want to take a chance on a Facebook ad. But I've seen some people actually deal with the company. Apparently they do take a long time to get delivered because the waiting list was so long. Like, some people were saying it took them a couple months to actually get it. And, like, I think the cheapest one that somebody was showing was, or maybe it wasn't the cheapest one. No, but like $4,000 to $5,000. It might have been more than that. I thought maybe somebody said $8,000. I'm like, that's a lot of money for a fucking armoire. I was like, I'm never gonna be able to afford that. I'd rather buy the art supplies with that amount of money. I was like, let me go to like the Container Store or something and I'll just buy the storage. We don't have the room for that in this house anyway. Because that thing's pretty deep. It takes up quite a lot of room. And then, we might be moving in a couple of years, so it's like, So my mind's kind of drifting to, well, I don't want to get a big, heavy, expensive piece of furniture that we may not be able to move with us, But if wherever we would end up, if we have the funding, I would love to do a 2-bedroom and use the 2nd bedroom as like an office craft room where we can have some more space just dedicated to that, where I can take the closet that's in there and go to Dollar Tree or the Container Store or Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever and get the containers that I want and stack that bad boy up. And we'd probably also use it as an emergency crash room for any friends that were suddenly finding themselves without any place to go. Because we like to leave the option open for our one friend, because life's been kind of jerking him around lately. That, we will make it work if he needs a place to go. Right now, we're only like an hour away from him. And he has crashed with us before. But we like to let him know he does in fact have some place to go if it comes to it. We might not be able to house all of the pets that he is currently taking care of, although only like 2 of them are actually his, and those 2 we can figure it out. But the rest of his family's menagerie probably wouldn't have room for them. But we'll see. We don't even know where we're going to end up if we actually do end up moving. It's going to be a few years. And I said a couple. It's probably more than that. But where we're at is probably not our final location. But we'll see what life decides to throw at us as time goes on here. Okay, so it's not looking too shabby. I mean, it looks a little weird at the moment because we don't have, because there's so much gray and the light is bouncing off of the gray. So, let me see, we've got a bit of a thinner section in here still that's shining through. Hang on 1 second. Sorry, I had to remind the husband that I've got the pizza dough bowl in the oven with a cover over it to let the dough rise, and I heard him digging in the freezer for something. I was like, wait, don't forget the things in the freezer, or things in the oven. Don't turn the oven on to preheat. We gotta move that first. One disaster avoided. He said he knew, or he remembered. But I had to double check. Because he doesn't always come back in right away. So sorry about that interruption. I was like, no! Oh my goodness. Alrighty, so we'll get this. I think we need to add another section in there.
I'm gonna be right back because I don't have any bread products.
Huh?
I have no bread.
Oh, that's right, they were out.
Yeah. They were out of bread, and all my other stuff when it expired, so I'm just gonna grab finger rolls at Harps.
Okay, because I was gonna say, well, don't leave the oven preheating if you're going all the way to Walmart.
No, just the Harps.
Okay. Yeah, the other night when we were in Walmart, they didn't have any bread of their in-house brand, let's put it that way. And that's the one that Russell prefers. Because it's not hugely overpriced. And he finds the texture acceptable. He has a lot of food anxiety, so. On top of his regular anxiety, food anxiety is a huge one. So I try not to fight it too hard. And we pick our battles where we can. Some things just aren't worth fighting over or fighting through. Not really fighting. Between us, fighting with the object in question. So, a particular bread brand, what the fuck ever, that's not Not worth trying to force him to eat a different brand. He's tried a couple other ones and he just doesn't care for them. He doesn't mind when I make bread. He doesn't like to ask me to do it a lot because it takes a couple of hours. But with the stand mixer, I don't have to do the kneading by hand, so it saves my battered hand. Although I'm surprised I'm having a flare-up now, because we're doing pretty good with it for quite a while. I think I had a flare-up a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month and a half ago, and then it settled back down. It was a quick flare-up. I think this new mouse that came with this PC has not been helping, though. Like, my hands are small in relation to a lot of the gaming mice, and this thing came with a gaming mouse. And so when my hand is on my mouse pad, it feels gargantuan. Like the height of it. And it has my hand in an awkward stretch that's uncomfortable a lot of the time. And it felt weird using the wrist rest that I had with that particular mouse. Like, I couldn't, it was so big, I couldn't grip it right, and I was like, ugh. So we took the wrist rest off, and it was okay, but certain things I was doing would have like a tiny minor flare-up. And we ended up we didn't fully attach we kept the wrist rest. And we haven't fully attached it back to this keyboard tray yet. It's just kind of sitting on there right now. But we might have to break down and replace this mouse. Fucking glitter? I'm still finding glitter everywhere from Christmas, you guys. What the hell? It never goes away. Alright, yeah, that's still... What are you? A bit of odd colored fuzz. Alright, so yeah, I've still got a little bit of a thin section in there, so I know it's a pain in the ass because I keep going over the same spots for you guys, but I said I want to hit the thin sections now as I'm going to get them done, and then I mentally can feel better about moving on down the line here. I know we haven't painted this week, but we were busy with Diablo. We did actually play a little bit of Diablo last night. We didn't end up streaming it because we weren't sure how long we were gonna play, because we were both pretty beat up from painting the room. But we finished as early as we did because my mom didn't want me to paint one of the walls. I think for a birthday present, after Russell and his mom moved in here, I had told him, I said, well, I can come see you, and, you know, how about for your birthday I paint something on your wall? And he's like, yeah, that'd be great. So I flew down, and that was the trip that we got engaged on, I believe. Yeah, it was. And I was grabbing my bag off the carousel, and I wasn't sure where he was behind me. And I wasn't paying any attention to him because I was intently trying to find my bag. I've got a specific looking bag. It's like my main set of luggage is tapestry. It looks like a tapestry like needlepoint of classic Winnie the Pooh in like different squares and stuff on it. So I know it's mine because I've never seen anybody else traveling with it. It's pretty specific. And so I saw it and I grabbed it and I went to swing it off the the luggage carousel. And I turned around and I dropped it and he was like right behind me and I was like, oh Jesus, I almost hit him with my bag. And he's like down on his knee when I already turned around. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, this is really embarrassing in front of all these people. Because it was like the whole baggage claim area was like full of people. And I was like, okay, there's like way too many eyes on me right now. Fortunately, it was a small airport. It wasn't like a large, huge international airport. It was a local regional one. But yeah, so I painted a huge sunset mural across the one wall. It's like floor to ceiling. And I noticed I fucked it up. And I'm not sure how I didn't notice it at the time. But now looking back at it, I keep seeing the mistake. And it's driving me crazy. Because I can't, for the life of me, figure out what the hell I was doing. I don't know if I was just in such a rush. I didn't notice it because I only had a couple of days to work on it. So it was definitely a rushed job, but I keep looking at it now and all I see is that mistake and I'm like, ugh. I was like, you want me just to paint over it? My mom's like, no, don't touch it. I'm like, I really need to redo it though. But I don't know if I'll end up redoing it or not. We'll have to see. I mean, I feel kind of silly redoing it when we're not even in there. So maybe I'll just have to let that one go. We might whitewash that wall, reprime it, and make that go away. If we end up trying to sell this place down the road. We'll see. Alright, so we got this guy. Alright, that's looking a little bit better. I mean, it still looks a little thin in this spot, but we're getting there. Okay. And I mean, the mural's fairly old. I'd really like to freshen it up. So we've been married for 16 years. I think we were engaged for 2. 2.5. And of that, I think maybe a year and a half, he was living up in New Jersey. Or were we engaged for 3 years? I can't remember. I know it was a long distance engagement for quite a while. Okay, so just getting, so this is gonna look a little circular. thing is, I don't know where I'm going to put my clouds. I could put some of the cloud around in there to fill in that section. Now, in reality, this mountain might end up being, the sky might end up being a little bit taller than what we started out with, just so I don't have to deal with any weird seam issues of where these two colors meet, right? So see what we can do with that. I'm trying to figure out what color I want my clouds to be. We could mix a little bit of white with a little bit of light gray, or we could go white with a little bit of sky blue. Just, I haven't figured that part out yet. But I can't count on my cloud like fully covering that light spot, right? So you beeped. Husband.
Mm-hmm.
You beeped.
Oh, no, I already put it in.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Our oven beeps when it's done preheating. So I hope everybody had a good week. I know stream schedule was a little weird this week. So the Diablo with the husband didn't get put on the YouTube channel. But I am working on recording a playthrough session of Diablo 4 with just me as I have time on a druid. I'm running a sorcerer with the husband, and he's running a necromancer, so that's gonna be like a stream only deal. And then the solo druid I'm running will just be a YouTube thing. I don't know, there might be an occasion where one of his characters pops up if I'm having trouble getting through something, but so far we've been doing okay with that, but we're still really low level. But apparently you can unlock some stuff with one character can unlock stuff for your other characters. So as we've been going, I've inadvertently given that character a little bit of help as we've been going through, sort of accidentally, but you know, it happens. I'll be showing like the cutscenes and stuff. I don't plan on fast forwarding with that one, because half the time when I'm running with the husband, like I'll watch the thing but it's not fully sinking in, so sometimes I like to watch the stuff a couple of times in the hopes that it'll sink in and that I might remember the thing, maybe. Kinda, sorta. Oh, so we moved all the furniture around yesterday, and I pulled stuff off of one of my mom's chest of drawers that we had to move. And she asked me where I put it, and I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, well, where did you put the stuff that you pulled off there? I said, I put it in a cardboard box, but then I put all the stuff back up there. And she's like, well, one of my metal rooster figurines is missing. And I'm like, huh? I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, because I thought I put it in the box. And now we can't find it. And I don't remember taking it out of that room. And I thought everything that I had pulled off there I put in this one specific box. But we can't find it. And there's really not that many places it could be. And I'm like, well, did we double check the trash? Like, I didn't put it in the trash. I wouldn't have, but maybe it fell off of whatever table I sat it on and fell into the trash, because the trash was near some of the tables that I had been sitting stuff on. And the husband's like, no, it would have been obvious. It would have been like full of rooster. It would have been sticking up. We would have seen it and been like, oh shit, you know, how did this get in here? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't think it was that big. But now we can't fucking find it, and I'm kind of at a loss as to where the fuck it went. And I'm kind of aggravated because I can't remember touching it. Like, I'm like, what? What happened? Like, I knew we touched the thing, but I'm not even sure I vaguely remember touching it. Like, I remember pulling stuff off of there. I think I remember touching a rooster. Maybe? But I'll be damned if I know what the fuck I did with it. Yesterday was a fucking blur. Come on. You don't belong in there. Alright. So this guy we're gonna put up in here. So we're starting to move on down the way here. Now that I've finally got that to the coverage that I'm happy with. That's really what this all comes down to, is you know, getting it to the shade and coverage, color, thickness, whatever you want to refer to it as, that you are happy with. And it always takes us a little bit of time to block in the base colors, especially when they're large sections of base color. So this whole session will be us filling in our sky color, more than likely. Got about an hour-ish left to play with today. So we'll see how far we get in this next hour. So I hope everybody had a good weekend. You guys do anything fun? Did you relax? Did you hide from the rest of the world? Because it's very people-y out there. Very people-y. Trying to remember what all we did exactly besides play from Diablo. I think we had to run to the store. When did we go to the store? No, we must have went to the store on Thursday. Or did we go Friday? No, there had been talk of going Friday night, but it was raining and storming off and on, and so we didn't actually end up going Friday. I think we just streamed Diablo. Vaguely remember making dinner. You ate that fast? Sweetie? Husband?
Mm-hmm.
You ate that fast?
No, it hasn't finished yet.
Oh, it sounded like you were using the toaster. I heard a ding. I'm so confused. And I'm really mad about a metal rooster I can't find. I don't remember. I vaguely, maybe sort of remember pulling it off of that table. But I thought I put it back in that cardboard box. I thought. I have a blank spot when it comes to what happened to this rooster after I potentially picked it up.
I'm still not sure she didn't end up moving it, and it's one of the ones that we pointed out.
No, because I think those ones were up there. I think this was a excuse me. Choking on air. Excuse me. I think the one that was on that set of drawers was smaller than what's on top of the armoire. But I remember picking it up and I remember putting the stuff that was up there in a box. Because I was like, what am I going to do with this? And then I saw the metal box, the cardboard box on the floor, and I was like, oh, this is empty. I can shove this stuff into that. I remember starting to put some of the stuff in there, and I touched the box that had the Basset Hound's ashes in it, and my mom started going off on me about how she wants to be buried with the dog's ashes, and that I have to stick in this stuffed animal that was sitting on top of the box of ashes, because that was the dog's stuffed animal. And I'm like, it doesn't look like it's been chewed on at all. And my mom goes, no, but she would lay with it. And I was like, all right. I remember that conversation. And while we were having that conversation, I was still pulling stuff off of the chest of drawers. I vaguely remember touching a metal chicken. Because I think the tail feathers kind of reminded me of like the wonton strips that you can get in the bags to put in your salads. I vaguely remember picking it up, and then I'm blank. I don't remember what happened next. But I do remember sitting the box down on the floor after putting said items in it. I don't know. I don't know. I don't remember putting it back on the chest of drawers. I remember when I was putting the stuff, because we had to like move furniture and then put everything back so we could move the next set of furniture. I remember putting the stuff back on top of this chest of drawers. And I was trying to remember how the stuff was placed on there. And I remembered looking at it and I'm like, something feels like it's missing. Because it looked like there was too much space up there, and I was just kind of standing there looking at it and I'm like, what's missing? Couldn't put my finger on what it could have potentially been. And I was kind of like, maybe nothing's missing. But it looks like there's something missing here. I don't know where this chicken ended up. And I'm like deathly afraid it did fall into the trash. Maybe I didn't put it in the box. Maybe I sat it on the table and it fell off the table. But none of us saw a chicken in the trash as we were throwing tape and paper towels in there. I think we would have noticed it. So this is just gonna add fuel to my mom swearing that the house is haunted. Because stuff goes missing all the time. I'm like, Mom, half the stuff that you're saying is going missing is like small stuff and light stuff that is probably the cats running off with it, because Cal likes to steal stuff and Ed likes to steal stuff. Ed will steal my hair scrunchies all of the time. Cal will steal straws out of your drink if you're not paying attention to it. He will run off with the damnedest shit. And I'm trying to think, I started out with this one on my hand when I started painting. And I was like, yeah, no, this isn't enough support. And I had to go and swap out my wrist supports, because I've got one that has a metal bar splint in it that I needed, because it turned out the roller was a lot heavier than I was expecting it to be. Russell didn't help me with that part because I started... Did he help with that part? I moved the one chair out of the way. On my own. I did the one wall on my own. And I was getting hot. And I was like, oh, let me go and turn the ceiling fan on. And then there was a spider that was just out of my reach on the ceiling fan after I started to turn it on. And he's taller than me, so I had to go wake him up to deal with the spider. And I remembered him bringing in a plastic drawer that he was filling with stuff off my mom's dresser, which was next to this chest of drawers where this rooster was. But he might have been eating while I was doing that. So he's like, I need to eat something real quick. I was like, fine, whatever. And we'd been moving so much stuff around. I am drawing a complete fucking blank on this chicken. I don't think I would have walked off into another room with it. It shouldn't be in the mother-in-law's room because Russell didn't go in there with it. I know he grabbed Cow and he swapped out Cow and Mai. But I'm still not recalling a mental visual on this chicken. Does this happen to other people where they just... Like, do other people remember, like, touching stuff and moving it? Or is this a complete Nisey stupid brain thing? or like an ADHD brain thing where my mind was preoccupied with something else, a different conversation going on, and so I wasn't fully, I don't know, because I remember placing the box down. I looked under her bed in case it fell off of something. It wasn't under there. It couldn't have fallen off because, excuse me, like it couldn't have fallen off from behind. Number one, the chest of drawers is too close to the wall for it to have fallen behind at this rate. And number two, I didn't remember putting it back up there. So where in the fucking fuck did this fucking chicken go? Like, her big ones where that was at. She's got a couple on top of her one armoire. Those are still there. I'm just so mad and so hung up on where this fucking chicken went. And she didn't say anything about it last night. She said something about it when I got up this morning. And I'm like, you do realize how much time has passed, right? Like, and then she's like, well, I guess it'll turn up. And I'm like, I don't know where it could turn up from. Because all the places it could have turned up from at this point, it should have turned up from. Like, everything was back in its place. I don't understand. I'm completely mystified. I mean, if we find it, I'll let you guys know. But she keeps saying that the house is haunted and that ghosts are taking stuff, and I'm like, and moving it. I'm like, Mom, it's the cats. And she doesn't see that well to begin with, so I'm like, Russell's like, well, did anybody open the closet? He's like, did you put anything in the closet? I said, I opened the closet like exactly once when I was painting, but that was because there was something hanging on the back of the closet doorknob that was kind of stuck in the door opening, and I didn't want to get paint on it, so I opened the door mid-painting and slid it out of the way. I was like, I didn't open it to put anything in there, because I remember the door was kind of stuck and I had to fight with it to even really get it open to pull that thing out of being stuck in the door. So I don't know what on earth is going on. Like, I was actually contemplating looking outside on the porch, thinking she sat it out there. I'm just, I don't fucking know where it could be, because there's not that many places where it can be. Did I stick it in her hamper? She would have noticed that, though. I don't know. Like, I remembered standing over there. Maybe I grabbed the chicken first to move it, and then found the box? I'm gonna have to tell her to check her clothes hamper. I'm more mad about the fact that I'm just seeing like a black void when it comes to this chicken being touched. Like, it's just not there. The memory's not there. It did not imprint in my brain properly. I think that's what I'm mad about the most. So I wonder what color we will paint our dowels this time. I don't think I want to do white this time. Hang on, we need to turn this guy just a little because I need to see our line here. And now that top edge looks a little uneven, but like I said, if that does get a little uneven, we can use the straight edge of the dowel rod to even that guy up a little bit, because we're going to use this bit to glue to the back of the dowel. And because I got some half dowels. That are about 12 inches long. To use as the hangers for this. So we don't have to worry about making them fit into a frame. And they are kind of tough to fit into a frame. You'd kind of have to take the glass out unless you get a really deep one. Or if you're doing this on your own, then, you know, you could get a little extra creative with maybe a shadow box and pop it in there, and then, you know, maybe make some 3D trees, or add a flatter tree, or like a 3/4 dimensional tree to glue onto the outside of the glass or something, or the edge of the shadow box frame, to kind of like a diorama, but not exactly, but just to kind of, you know, maybe give it a little more layering, personality kind of thing. So I know this section's a little sheared off, and that's okay, like this section, as we're just sliding everything all over the place here. Because when we come back in to do our mountain, it's going to be a two-tone mountain, because the top edge he's got of it is pretty dark, and then it kind of fades down into a smaller, or a lighter color, no, smaller color, a lighter color. So I think how I'm gonna approach that, since we don't have the luxury of having magic white to change the shade of fiber in this, I think what I'm gonna do is do a dark outline and then kind of fill it in with a slightly different shade, a lighter shade than the outline. Now both fill-ins, I think this fill-in I decided was going to be a slightly different color than this fill-in. but the outline color is going to be the same. I believe that's what I had notated on my wrap my head around this demo sketch thing that I did really quick with the colored pencils up there in the corner. When we do these planning sessions, I'm like so caught up in just trying to get the thing. I don't always write all of my thoughts down on the side, and I really need to get a little better about doing that. Sorry, my camera's being a little weird about focusing today. This thing doesn't have autofocus. It has manual focus, so if I go to move it, it looks a little blurry. Like this section in here. I'm looking at it, right? And I think we've gone over this section a couple of times now. It looks a little... Oh, maybe we'll try to stick some cloud in there, see if that'll help with that. Like, I'm thinking it can't possibly be... Well, maybe. Maybe it is that thin. Alright, so got a little bit of a thin guy right in here. I don't want to patch up right now while I'm seeing him. I don't know if... Might just be the way the fiber colors were mixed together, because it definitely looks like I've stabbed fiber through that section on the back. And this one I can see like lighter and darker bits of the fiber that got put together to make this shade. Sorry, I've got something in my eye. My eyes have been very gritty today. But like we had the windows open yesterday, so it's not surprising in all the dust that we were kicking up. But really not all of that much of a surprise there. Okay, we've actually gone through a good chunk of fluff here. But we got it to use it, right? So such a weird person. I like get the materials to make stuff with, and then as I'm using it, I'm like watching the materials dwindle, and I'm like, but now I don't have the thing, and I'm like, but you got it to make the thing, so I actually have a ton more of this yarn color. It's a fluff, right? So it's not like I'm about to run out. I have more of it, of this particular shade. So I need not be too concerned. I can get more of this color. It's not like we're about to run out of a dye lot in the middle of a project here. Okay. But for all of my disorganized mess today, we're actually not doing too bad. We got our basic idea sketched in somewhat for where things are gonna be placed. For the most part. Like, we didn't sketch in the trees and shit, but that's not a big deal. We can come back to that. And those are like little details. What I really wanted to worry about sketching in was placement of the big parts, right? So that's really what the whole line madness is here. Is just working out roughly where we want things to live. And it's just pen, and we can adjust that as we go, because as we're filling in here, like the top edge of our pen line is slowly vanishing because we're placing stuff down on top of it. So you'll never know that we actually drew anything out in there unless you watched the drawing happening from the beginning. But we're not looking too bad here. Not too bad at all. Alright, just kind of trying to shape this into how I'm wanting that to look here. And hoping I'm hitting that edge up there. Hopefully we are. So I'm not too worried about hitting the edge of our mountain here too closely. Because like I said, we're going to have that dark shade that I'm going to use to outline it. And our lines are just merely a suggestion of where we might want the thing to be. So what's everybody got coming up this next week? Anybody doing anything interesting? Anybody going on vacation? Anybody planning a vacation? Anybody working on any fun projects this week? We're not going anywhere. Oh my god, we were in Sam's with my mom. I don't remember what day it was. One day last week, and they've got all of their summer stuff out, and we're in an area where people like to go tubing or rafting on the rivers and stuff. We don't do that because I can't. Number one, how the hell do you get back to your car from where you started unless you have somebody come and pick you up, which means one person can't partake in the fun, which seems weird to me. And, you know, some people have pools and there's the rivers and shit. And my mom's like looking at all the pool inflatables and stuff. And she's like, there you go, that's what we need. And I looked. I'm like, what? And I'm sitting there looking at it. I'm like, Mom, that's for like a river. It's like 5 inflatable, like, raft chairs or something, all attached to each other with like a center ring in the middle. I'm like, Mom, no. It's like, do you understand how big that is? I was like, we don't even have a pool to put that in. And then she was walking along looking at the other stuff, and then she saw this like inflatable kiddie pool. She goes, there you go, that's more our speed. I'm just like, yeah, okay. I'm like, you who won't go in the backyard because Russell saw a gardener snake weeks ago and we haven't seen it since. We think something was in the shed, but we don't know what it was. We don't know if it was a mouse or a snake. Russell heard something move in there and he never saw it, and he left the door open a crack overnight in the hopes that it would leave whatever it was. But we don't know if it ever left. And you know what? I'm okay if the mice want to move into the shed. I'm alright with that. As long as they're not in the fucking attic. Not even really an attic, it's more of a crawl space up there. And I'm okay with that. Because then I don't have to listen to them run above my head and freak the dogs out. And then us trying to trap them. Sorry, I felt like something was stabbing me in the foot. Through my sock. Like, I'm alright with that. That's fine. They can be in the shed. Not too thrilled about a snake being in the shed. We do have a few snakes we have to watch out for around here, but and I've seen some people talk about seeing them. Nothing close to our house as far as I've been able to tell, but we do have to keep an eye. I think we saw a potentially icky snake at the state park down the street maybe a year or 2 ago. Oh no, longer than that, I guess. A couple of years ago, and we're like, oh, we don't want to mess with that. It was laying like right in the middle of the pathway in the sun. Like, and it was a colder day or something, so we were kind of surprised to see it. But we were like, yeah, let's not fuck with that. And, we gave him or her plenty of room. But I do remember seeing some people talking about a couple of, what the hell is stabbing me in my foot? Sorry, it's fucking distracting as shit. Is that what it was? No. It feels like a hair or like a little piece of like grass or something. I would say it was guinea pig hay, but we don't exactly have the guinea pigs anymore. Even though we still find bits of their hay everywhere, which is absolutely mystifying. We haven't had boxes of hay in this house and I don't know how long. I mean, every time I vacuumed and swept and think I got all of it, a couple months later, we find some more of it somewhere. I'm like, where the fuck's it coming from? It's crazy. Maybe the house is haunted by guinea pigs. our fridge or freezer sounds like it is half the time when it's in one of its defrost cycles or whatever. It sounds like it makes the doopy noise that the pigs would make when they were rummaging about in their cage going doop 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 doop. I'm like, really? It's faint and you can't hear it all the time, but when you do hear it, it kind of gives you pause and you're like, what the hell is that noise? And like, I've actually like looked around, I'm like, why does it sound like there's guinea pigs coming from the freezer? Like, what? What is happening? That looked like a piece of cow's hair. Don't ask me how. That looked like a piece of cow's hair. Cow the cat. We don't have an actual cow. Alrighty. Yeah, I think we might just get the sky finished up today. Or at least, you know, laying the sky color in. So that's pretty fun. It's not often that we get a full sky blocked in on day one of a project, but then again our mountains are taking up a good portion of the sky, so we have a slight advantage to ours being quite so big, I guess. Now we won't be getting the clouds done today. Actually, we might not even fully finish blocking in the sky today, but we might. So clouds are probably going to be tomorrow, along with starting to outline our mountains here. So these guys are a little bit thicker. They take a little bit more stabbing to get them worked in here. Tell you, I'm looking forward to tonight's pizza. I think we need to get our other cheese into the freezer tonight. I saw that when I was rummaging through the fridge. So yeah, we might come back later tonight with Diablo. I'm not sure if the husband's if we're gonna be on the husband's channel tonight or not. We might. That's kind of up to him. This whole week he was kind of just saying, no, go on yours. And I was like, alright. Did you fix your lag problem? Was it the dynamic lighting?
What's that, dear?
Did you fix your lag problem? Was it the dynamic lighting?
No, that didn't work.
Or the shadows or something? Maybe it's like spell effects? I don't know, last night I was lagging a little bit myself too, coming in and out of the city, so it might have just been the sheer number of people on. Plus we were in a new area, so that was probably loading in as well. we managed to finally unlock our horses. Now, did those horses unlock for our entire
Yep.
account? So even the lower level guys have access to them now?
Yep.
Well, that'll be helpful.
Yeah, it can be.
But I want to work on getting us back into our realm of normalcy this week as best as we can. So for the recorded Diablo sessions that I'm putting up on the YouTube channel, those ones are going to be, that particular playthrough is going to be YouTube exclusive, so make sure you follow all the doodles down below for the YouTube channel. It's free to subscribe on the YouTube channel. It's not like subscribing here. The subscribe on YouTube is pretty much like the follow here. If you turn your notifications on over there, you'll find out when I post a video if you set it to all. So last week was pretty empty with stuff getting posted because we didn't send over the Diablo stuff where we were playing together, and that's okay. Sometimes you just need to take a week off, a couple days off from the normal routine. But I got the first episode with that one uploaded or published, shall I say, late last night. My sound is a little louder than I am on the recording. I tried to bump up the volume a little bit, so if it's too loud, I'm sorry. I did go back in last night and adjust my desktop volume for the game and my actual game volume itself, so hopefully that issue will be dealt with by the time I record the third one. The second one's probably going to be in much the same boat as the first episode. I don't know if I was just tired and just wasn't projecting very loud or what, but we'll see if I can adjust that a bit. What? Let go. That stupid thing. I kind of want to take it off at this point because my fluff is just clinging to it. I need to get some more gouache painting sessions in. And like I said before on those, I don't know if I'm gonna live stream all of them. There might be times where I just end up recording some of them, but then I have to edit them, so I don't know. We might end up just streaming those and I could just zip them on over to the YouTube channel. I hate video editing with a passion. I still have to start the video edit on our last project that we just wrapped up here. I think I made the opening title postcard thingy. So that battle's done. I was gonna work on it the other night, but my hand was just so angry. I was like, yeah, nope. That's not happening. Did you ever email the lawyer?
I can't remember. I know I got my question answered, but I don't remember how.
Oh, they did answer you?
I think so.
Because you never told me.
I can't remember if I called them or emailed them. Hang on. Yeah, no, I'm good. Apparently their forms might be a little out of date because it's a telephone call.
So the lawyer was like, we're not...
Yeah, no, I emailed her.
Okay, so she said we're not doing a telephone call?
No, it is a telephone call. I was asking if they said something about installing equipment. I was concerned about that, but they don't. It's just a telephone call.
Okay, so did we have to respond to that letter in any way?
No, that part I knew. We don't have to respond.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that they weren't waiting for an answer and were gonna, like, deny us because we didn't tell them yes or no. It was very confusing. Okay, get this next bit of floof and stoof here. Oh yeah, we're definitely not getting the clouds today. Definitely not. Alright, so we'll get this worked into here. I mean, it's hard to believe we've been working on this series for so long, but it does take a little bit longer to get through these. We can't get them done in a half hour like Bob can. Maybe if we were like super tiny, we could get them done in like maybe 2 or 3 sessions, but that's just not gonna happen. But we were for a while only doing 1 session a week, so we have since bumped it up to 2 sessions a week, which will definitely help speed things along. I mean, we've gotten 3 done here in pretty swift order, I think. Alright, let's go back into the magical mystery fluff bag. And we'll try to pull some apart without it completely sticking to my hand. Like, I was thinking it would be sticking to the band-aid tip the most, but that's been doing okay. It's just been sticking to the roughed up section of our hand guy, who's looking a little threadbare. Probably need to get a new one. These things were like life when I was working retail, with the amount of punishment I was putting my hand through on a daily basis. And there's our line. Having trouble finding it. Okay. See, if you don't have anything kind of holding that in check, the fluff, you're just gonna stab through and like 2/3 of it's gonna be pulled across. It's like, whoa, what just happened? Alright. Getting this guy all worked together here. It'd be fun to work with some more purple. We don't get to work with that color very often with Bob. And we've got a couple tougher ones coming up in this series. So we've I'm getting all caught up in my headphone wires all over the place. So we're working on Quiet Inlet right now. We've got Nightlight, which is an old like a lighthouse, which is like sunset on one side and like nighttime on the other, so that's gonna be interesting. We've got the old mill, which is kind of similar to our covered bridge in a way, like with the taller building. The campfire one, I still don't know if we're going to be able to do it. That one's going to be pretty challenging, I think. Rustic barn. So we're about halfway. Oh goodness, we're only halfway. Alright. So we're on number 7. And he had 13 of these going on. I'm just trying to make sure that we are all attached into here. Might have to add another little piece here. Because that got a little carried away there, so we're not quite as straight as I would like to be. This side dipped down just a little bit. So let's grab a little bit more of that guy. Get that one kind of straightened up here. That's probably a little thicker than we really need to be there. Gosh, maybe I should be using this more often if the fluff is going to stick to it. That way I don't drop it. Alright. So, I mean, I'm technically on the line here. But honestly, I'd rather be a little bit over it, where the dowel rod can cover it, than a little bit under it. I kind of feel like our corner's a little bit rounded here. Doesn't feel like a nice crisp corner. But that's okay. It's not a huge deal. I mean, it's not that bad. All right. Oh, it just keeps gravitating towards everything here. Okay. Behave yourself now. Alright, so we got this guy worked into here. Now, we did finish up the last project last Monday. So, I'm not sure if that VOD's still on the channel. It might be. If you missed it, it is on the YouTube channel. We were late coming back. We had to go run an errand. Oh, I guess it was Monday when we went to Samson, because we were super late getting back. I was really late for getting stream started, but it worked out in the end because all I was doing was painting the dowels and gluing them into place, and then attaching our hanging string, our jute there. So it was super rushed because I was trying to squeeze it in the time slot that I had between getting the stream done and having to go and make dinner. So I do apologize for it being quite so rushed, but we did get it done. So I was actually thinking that I was gonna have to start dinner like a half hour late, but we got it done in time. I know Monday afternoon can be a rough time slot to try to catch, so I do apologize for that, but it's one of the days that kind of works for us at the moment. And we've just got this whole corner all jacked up here, don't we? We kind of sort of do somehow. I'm not quite sure how that happens. Like, I don't mind it being a little wonky, and I know it's gonna get that way, so I've kind of come to accept that, but that was a little extra wonky right out the gate. That I feel like I still have time to kind of fuss with. Just a bit. Alrighty. We're getting there. Only got this little section left to fill in here. Does anybody have any 4th of July plans? I know we're still like a month out, less than a month out, but they've already started putting up the tents to sell fireworks around here. Those were up like June 1st. I was like, what the hell? I was like, y'all can't even start selling this shit until like maybe the week before, depending on the town. Like, people can set them off here, but they, like in our area, I don't think that you can just go buy them like at a standing store. They've got these tents set up as a temporary selling location. So I think there's specific dates that they're allowed to sell them between. It was just shocking to see the tents up quite so early. Uh-oh, I hear Suzu tappy feet. Suzu usually only comes and says hello when he wants to go potty. We need to... Yeah, I was gonna say we're probably due. And I know Little Cow and Mai need their nails done. Because we have, the floor in our room is kind of like a fake wood laminate thing. And, we have a couple throw rugs down, because A, the floor's not even, and if I don't have it down under my chair, then my chair rolls away as I'm sitting in it. We had to put a couple extra down in here for the dogs and for Momo, so we didn't slide with his back injury. And when... Come on, Momo, let's go! Come on! Hang on, let me grab Momo.
I got him. You got him? Okay. Yeah, I just had to wake him up.
Oh, he was asleep?
He was doing that thing where he sleeps with his eyes open.
Oh, it's so creepy when he does that. Like, I think he's awake and I'm talking to him and he's actually asleep. And, so we can hear Little and Cal and Mai walking across this throw rug, basically. And you can hear this popping noise when they're walking across it from their nails getting caught in it. So we need to do a nail spa day on the critters. It's one thing that we always lose track of when we did it last. I mean, logically, we should just put up a calendar and put a sticker or, you know, make a note on it when we've done the thing, so we have the visual reference of doing the thing. But that requires us to actually get the calendar and then remember to move it on the month as it changes. And like, I have a calendar in our room, but it's apparently from, how is it from? I don't know. I have a Bob Ross calendar and I was changing the months, but it got stuck on May of some year, and I don't know how long it's been there now. It might be 2 years old. I'm so terrible with this. Plus, it's not in an easy spot to get to change. But that's more my fault than anything. And like, I see this painting, but I never remembered him doing this painting on any of his videos. So I'm like, where did this one come from? Because he's obviously not making more, so I don't really know where this one came from. Alright, so we're just about done here for today. I really want to finish this last little corner of fluff before we call it. I know we're not going anywhere anytime soon. The only place we might be going might be the zoo, and that's like a day excursion. And that's not going to be till like September, maybe. Okay. So that kind of has us in a pretty decent start, I think. Now, we're not going to have too many clouds happening in here. Just a couple, but like I said, we'll get to clouds tomorrow. I think that would put us at a good place to start. And then once we get our cloudy guys situated, we can work on getting the outline in on our mountains, or at least get the first one outlined. Or do we want to fill in and then outline? No, I think we'll outline first. That sounds like the better idea. It's always fun changing gears and trying to start a new one. Get a new set of colors to look at. This one won't be quite so foresty green. And we've got a little bit of greenery going on in this one, but you know. It won't be quite so nothing but green. This one was actually a little empty for him. I was kind of surprised, to be perfectly honest. Alright, does anything look like it's too terribly not filled in? Don't think so. It does look a little thin over in here, but we can do like a little bit of a fluffy cloud happening here. And maybe we'll do a little fluffy cloud here. Maybe we'll do one over here. And then we'll start to get this guy lined out. We'll get to the water when we get there, obviously. But that will do it for today. So I thank you guys for hanging out with me for a bit. Don't know what time we're starting tomorrow. We'll try to start a little bit early if I'm able to. I don't know if I have to go to the store with the husband tomorrow or not. I might, in which case we won't be starting early, but we'll see. I don't know if we're coming back for Diablo after dinner. We might be. I'm not sure whose channel we're going to be on. If we're going to be on his or if we're going to be on mine. If we're going to be on his, I will definitely make sure to send the notification out that I'm going to be over there. And I will pop something onto Twitter as well, so that you guys know about that. So make sure you're following here and there. And yeah, so we'll be back tomorrow for more arty things. Until next time, you guys, have a good one.